Some popular games have hundreds of clones, but what if we turn things around and combine iconic games into one game? So I got both of the logos into one project. First, I'm going to create the shape of the Angry Bird. I selected it and filled it with the color in the Among Us logo. Then I fixed it by making it a little more round. After that, I'm going to create a layer with a dark red to paint some shadows. Then I added some highlights to the opposite side. Next, I'm going to draw a shape similar to the jetpack in the Among Us logo, and give it some shadows as well, a darker red for the edge to create more depth. Then I selected the shape of the eye and painted it with the same light blue color. I made it more round and then gave it a shadow using a darker blue color. And as in the original logo, I'm going to add a white touch as well. Next, I added the shadow casted by the eye, a dark blue edge to it as well. There's a white patch on the Angry Bird, so I'm going to add that to our logo. First, I created a round shape with the exact color and placed it here. And to match it with the red body, I gave it some darker shadows. Also a tiny line under the edge. After that, it's time for these dark red patches. I traced the shape of it and placed it on our character. I disabled the shadow layers and placed the patches. And when I enable them, it matches perfectly with the body. Then I'm going to make this thing on the top. I drew them using the pen tool and did the same by adding some shadows and highlights. Then I copied it and brought both of them above the red layer, and gave a nice touch with that darker red. In the Among Us logo, there are some thick black outlines. I wanted to do the same. First, I started drawing them with my mouse, but then I found an easier way to do that. I didn't make it too much wider because our character is not 2D. After finishing the character, I got it into a brand new project. I decided to give it the same background as the original Angry Birds, but I have a better idea. First, I downloaded this picture of the Earth and placed it in a side. Then I found this cool purplish sky background. I made it a little darker. Then made our Earth a little brighter. After that, I gave it some motion blur to make it look like it's coming from the Earth. I erased the black edges from the blur layer. Next, I added those anime fast lines things, and some moving snow as well. I decided that the best name for this game is Sus Birds. I gave it a 4.6 star rating as well, and we are done with our first combined game. I made a few variations by changing the background. We have the space version, the original version, and I just gave the yellow background from the Among Us logo to this one. Comment which version is your favorite, and it's time for us to move on to the next design. Now I'm going to combine Minecraft and Shadow Fight. Shadow Fight logo has this cool background. It has layers fading away to a bright background with lots of glow. So I'm going to design a Minecraft background just like that. First, I created a black base same size as the one in Shadow Fight. I added this little square here as a block. Since this is Minecraft, we have to work with squares. As the second layer, I drew this random square shape and gave it a lighter ash color just for now. Next, I downloaded a picture of a Minecraft tree and brought it into Photoshop. I traced the shape of it and gave it the same gray color as well. I copied it and placed randomly in different sizes and in different heights. I wanted to create like a forest background. After that, I copied it, gave it a lighter gray color, and created another layer of trees. This one should be smaller than the other one. Then I found a Minecraft grass image. I got it into our project, cut it out, and gave it the same color as our first forest layer. Next, I placed them randomly on that layer. That looks really good. I grabbed it again, and this time I made it black, because I wanted to add one for our black base layer. I placed one up here and another in here. Now it's time to add colors. I made the background a brighter blue color, and drew these lines to make it less boring. Then for each layer, I made the color more darker and darker. So at the end, it matches with the black layer. Then I created a layer with the background color. And when I reduce the opacity and the flow of the brush, I can get this cool glow effect. You can see a darker color on the edge of the Shadow Fight logo, which is helpful to get more attention to the middle. So I did the same. I copied the glow layer and turned it into white. After that, I got this sunshine image. I managed to create a full circle by coping and turning it upside down. Then removed the black layer and finished the background. Now I have to add Steve. I selected him and got into our nice background. After coping it, I can select all the individual shapes of him and give them a blue shade. First, I did it for the head, then the left arm, the body, the right arm, and finally the legs. Next, I created another solid color layer and gave Steve a sharp blue edge. And I added some glow above him as well. Then I selected this part and erased it. I wasn't feeling it, so I decided to give him eyes. Got it into the right shape, and I painted it full blue to give that Hero Brian look. Some white glow in the eyes as well. And we are done. I played with color and made 2 more variations, but I love original one the most. Would you play this if this was a real game? Let's jump into our last design for today. The next logo is Flappy Bird. We need a running game for this one. Something like Subway Surfers or Temple Run. But their logos are too complicated. I'm gonna use the Minion Rush logo. Okay, so I got the Flappy Bird into Photoshop. The logo of it is a pixel design. That means if I do this, you can clearly see that the logo is made out of little squares. So I can't use Photoshop for this one. I found this website called pixelart.com. It is basically a website to create pixel art. First, I made a 50 by 50 pixel canvas. Maybe 30 is good. Then I'm gonna open up this minion picture on the side. I'm gonna draw it using pixels. First, I drew the outline of the pants using a dark blue color, then filled it with a lighter one. Next, I made the back leg darker. After that, I gave it a blue shade. Then I chose a brown color and started drawing the shape of the minion. I drew the goggles using the colors black and dark gray. I messed it up. Thank God we have an eraser on this thing. I filled it with white and gave them the pupils. I drew the mouth as well. Next, I painted the whole body with this brighter yellow color, then painted a shadow with a slightly darker yellow. After that, I painted the hands, and gave them shadows as well. Next, I painted the hand in black as it is in the original minion. I tried to fix the pant and have him some white teeth. Then I did his shoes, and some final touches with white color. I made the decision to erase the thing of the pant and redrew it in a good way. That looks good. Now I'm gonna download this. Oh my god, it's like 900 pixels. Of course, you know sometimes we have to do it the old way. Then I grabbed it into Photoshop, and then spent 17 hours cutting it from pixel to pixel. Flappy Bird logo has this vibrant gradient background. The original Minion Rush game has a blue background, so it's time to combine them. I tried to make one using the website we used earlier, but it was a mistake. So I created my own gradient and filled the background. I even tried to make the background look like it's made out of pixels. But then I gave up. Flappy Bird has a little shadow under it, so I did the same to our minion. I used a few color lookup filters to get that old look. I made it more vibrant, and we are done with the final combined logo. This is not actually what I expected, but I think it turned out pretty well. We made a total of 7 new game icons today, and I think this turned out to be a successful video. So that's it for today. Thank you for watching, and see ya.
A few moments later. A few moments later.